a shading tutorial stream. So let's get our non-copyrighted music and let's begin. So firstly, you're gonna start with your base colors, or basically the colors you want to use. So let's make our color palette. So I'm gonna start off with my skin tone color, which is like this nice orangey color to contrast with the pink of the outfit. The slight white, which is just gonna be a blue, just to look aesthetically pleasing as possible. If there are any other colors, let's use like a purple for a black. And that should be all our colors. I hope. Yep, that should be all our colors that we are gonna need for this. Let me open my Roblox avatar. As you can see, I use like mostly 3 colors, so we should be fine. Okay. You know what they say, cats are pretty flexible. Okay, let's begin. So starting off with your color, so the liners is on top, and the bottom is your base colors. So let's start by adding our base colors. Yes, make Ivy flexible. Now, since we only have the face, let's start shading the face. I'm gonna be using my emotional issues brush. So let me just export this. And let me just like post it so everyone can use it. And we will have a easier time. Here you go. Okay. Now that emotional issues has been released, let's continue with the tutorial. Okay, for the skin, we are gonna start with the skin. Usually I go down these colors, make it very, very close, but not too close. So we're gonna add a little bit of shadowing here. So just add a shadow gradient, and that is perfect. And use emotional issues and use a darker color to shade the others. Now, usually you wanna highlight the eyebrow parts, or where the eyebrows are. So like add shadows to your eyebrows. You talk Spanish? Nope, I do not. Now add nose. Shadows on the nose, which is just a triangular shape. And I'll usually just blur it down here. Okay. Now for the lips, I use the same shade, and you know, there we go. For the eyes, usually I go on here and add blushing, so this is the blush. Now this is all using one shade. Now we're gonna use a very darker red and outline some parts of this eye here for that aesthetics that I go for every time I draw characters. They have these red tints under their eyes just to bring depth. Okay. Yeah. Now we're gonna use like a bluish color for the eye whites. And yeah. I actually don't like using pure white because I think it ruins my aesthetic preference. So like I usually use like blue, light pink, yellow, you know, just warm colors. Now for the eye color, let's just color it with the color purple. And yeah. We have a very messy color palette. I know. I've gotten used to it by now. Okay. Now after that, we're gonna add a slight line over here on the face to contour his face. And line where the hair is meeting with the skin, I'll add a bit of shadowing there. Okay, now I'm gonna use a blue, a very bluish color, and use it to add highlights on a lowered brush opacity. I'm gonna use it to just add some lighting and to make the drawing look less dull. You can see the blue is really adding up a lot. And yeah, so whenever I do highlights, never ever use warm colors, but usually depends on how you do your art. I just really love using colder colors for highlights because it makes your art stand out more. I do not have a TikTok. Now I'm gonna add a light here because light bounces from there. And continuing, forgot to color the teeth or the smile. Okay, now as you can see, the face looks really good right now. Very okay-ish. Nothing really to add, so let's move on with the rest. But just a little touch up, let's add a little bit of coloring on the liner. As you can see, that helps a lot as of fusing black. See? It's a very, very big difference, you can say. The difference is very big. I do have an Instagram, if you're asking, Milton. Now, I'm just gonna use the rest. But since you have a very dark color, I'm gonna use a darkish blue to fit that line art color here and just line that. And since the hair is also a bit darker, I will be also lining the hair. Okay. Also, kind of the beard. Okay. Now, for hair, let's do hair next. Hair is one of the easiest things I can teach you, as it's really, really easy. The way I shade hair is actually just takes 5 minutes to do. So that's something. But every time I do it, it just looks very nice. Very, very nice. Coloring the eyebrows. Who did you learn to draw from? I taught myself how to draw ever since I was a young man, a young lad. I taught myself how to draw. Coloring the beard a bit. Okay. Now, hair shading time. Usually I'd use a multiply layer and... Okay. Now, whenever you use a multiply layer, you always want to use light colors and not dark colors. So let's use a middle tone color between the bluish and the purple. So this is pink. Do you love your work? Of course. It's very tiring, but in the end of the day, it's nice. Okay, I'm going to be using Pandesal and Force Fade. Now, if you don't have my Pandesal brush, you can also use Pen Fade as a substitute. And just adding like hair parts here and there. Now this part is very tedious, so you know it takes a lot of patience. But since his hair is a little bit short, I can speed up the process. Okay, after you're done with that, you want to have another lighter color, but more lighter than your previous color, and shade on the insides. please do not ask questions right now, as this is a tutorial live stream. If you only ask questions if you have any questions about the tutorial. Now we're gonna add an add layer and color drop and make it lighter. We're gonna use a cold color for this. Okay, now I like to do this on the shadowy parts, just add lines on it so that the shadows would be more prominent and more visible. Is this how to shade everything? Yep, it's an all full-ass tutorial on how I literally shade. So after you've added that, can this work on Medibang? It works on every drawing application. Actually, you just have to use the techniques I've used and just paste what you've learned. Pink. It's just depending on the techniques. Okay, now that we're done with the hair, let's move on with the clothes. So, clothing wrinkles are actually very easy. Let me show you how it's done. So, let's start with the pink base of the body, because we gotta love them pinks. Am I right, everybody? Okay. After we've added the pink, we're gonna add a shadow color. Okay, let's add that shadow. Gotta add that gradient in. Always use gradients on your art to make it more appealing. Now, I'm gonna be using emotional issues and go for a darker orangey color like this. And just start adding shadows. Now, you don't have to fear if it's too dark, because we're just gonna be using it as a bottom or base. It's the air shade. Baka ikaw lang yun. Now, we're just... Shay, old na yung house natin. Huwag ka matakot sa mga ganyan. Our house is old. Normal lang yan kasi sira yung mga stuff. Okay. Now, continuing with this. Continuing with the shadows. Okay. You don't have to fit in the liner. Blue biscuits. That's where I got inspired to render, actually. Okay, now you can see the ass rendering, like the ass. The big, fat, voluptuous booty. The anti-gravitational booty projector. Okay, now still continuing with the shadows. Okay, this looks a bit sus. Sorry for the people who just joined. Okay, now continuing. I'm gonna be using a lighter tone, which I just color dropped from here, and continuing with this. So also, guys, you should practice color theory just to help with your art a bit more. You know, like color theory always helps. So probably learn color theory Not probably, like, you should definitely learn color theory. So like, let me show you a small example of color theory. So for example, we have this color, and to find like a nice color for this, you're gonna want to boop and boom, and that's a complementary color. Now we're gonna start with blue, and now it's gonna go diagonally here, so this is its complementary color. So you can see it's Gumball and Darwin. Do you know Mocha? Yeah, without Mocha, my channel wouldn't have grown. So yeah, thanks to Mocha. Complementary colors. Okay, continuing on. So this works by like imagining this is your arm, okay? So this is your arm. It wraps around like clothing will wrap around like that, so it's very triangular. So that's how it works. To be more precise, okay, let's imagine that this is the arm and that the fabric is just laying on, so it would look like that. So yeah, it would look like this. If that would be the case, then that is how it would look. Continuing on, do you draw with your finger? Absolutely. You're doing the triangular thing. Yeah, actually, Joe, all of my clothing folds are triangular shapes. If you've noticed, like, all of them are, look, triangular, triangular, triangular. All of them are in triangles to help with realism. Okay, continuing on, adding a slight shading here just to help with shadows. Adding more shadows to here just for the nice aesthetics. Now I'm just gonna also add a shadow here just for the niceness of it. Okay, now after you're done with that, you're gonna wanna grab the base color and make it a bit darker. And wait, no, we're gonna wanna use a blue color and just do this. Outline all the shadowy parts just to make it look very nice. Just outline to make it blend better. Trust me, it would help later. Like, it would help a lot. It would be very helpful. So we do this just to make it easier to blend for later. Also, after it's done blending, it would add a nice effect. As you can see, it gives a nice vibe, so we're gonna keep continuing on with that vibe, because that vibe is a nice vibe. Now, next we're gonna drop an airbrush and color these inside parts with a bit of purple as a bounce light. Now, if you're asking me, Joshin, what the flipperoonie is a bounce light? Well, bounce light is something similar to lighting that's bouncing off a surface. So imagine this is your circle and your shadows will protrude here. And since light can bounce, not like really bounce, but like bounce in the sense of it really, okay. Now lighting will shoot directly over this. So like it would serve that, and it would also blend here. And this surface would cause a little bit of lighting onto the ball, and that is reflection light or reflected light. Like that, it does that. Which makes it more realistic and better for rendering. So we're gonna be adding a bit of that using an airbrush to simulate the effect we have on the drawing. Hopefully this is very easy for you guys to understand. Okay, now after we're done with that, we're gonna grab emotional issues again and start filling in the inside colors. This is my favorite part because this is the satisfying part of drawing. Just filling up these gaps. Just fill the gaps. Very nice. It doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, it's just filling in gaps. So yeah, very nice and relaxing indeed. You don't have to worry about anything else because it's just gaps. You can just relax and fill in the gaps because gaps. Nicely and smoothly. Okay, after that, we're gonna be using Bandasal, which I haven't posted yet, but I'm gonna be posting it later. And let's blur some end lines over here just to make it a bit more smooth. You can see the smoothness creeping in very nicely. Isn't that nice? It's very satisfying too. After we're done with those, let's go back again with emotional issues on a 50% opacity and shade again on the insides. For the final time. See, we got that very nice effect as you can see on the drawing. It's starting to look really nice. Very nice indeed. You can see that effect, can't you? I'm also going to be using a bluish color just to add a shadow here. Just to add that depth. Nice little character depth. Just bouncing off the booty. And I'm gonna be adding a little bit of shine to the ass just to make it bootylicious. You know what? You probably know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna add that good old texture to the booty. Just that nice little shine of, like, just to make that butt look shiny and bootylicious. And once we're done with that, go back to Bandasal and boom! Shiny ass. My guy has a shiny butt. Honestly, slay. Do you have Roblox? Yes, indeed, because I'm drawing my Roblox OC. Now, I'm gonna be sharpening the triangles here a bit, because they're a bit unsharp, and I don't want that unsharpness. Gotta make things sharp and neat, and pretty and precise. And, yeah. Okay, this is looking very nice. If I do say so myself, it's pretty beautiful. Okay, after we're done with the tranquil shading, let's start off by coloring the lines into a very nice pink color. Probably somewhere here. This is perfect. And color in the inner lines just to fit the colors a bit and make it pop off a bit more. As you can see, it's starting to look nicely on top. Very, very satisfying. Okay. Now let me show you how to shade very white colors, but I'm not going to be using a pure white because I hate pure white. I'm going to be using a blue color to contrast with the pink. So like, let's imagine this is white. Okay, I'm going to fill this in just a bit, not too much because we don't want to. Okay. After we're done with that, we're gonna be adding our shadow, which is just gonna be a darker version of this. Okay. Now we're gonna be adding that nice little shadow over here. Now, once we're done with that, adding more shadows and the final shadow here. Now let's add an orange color because it's near the skin. So there should be a bit of an orangey color there just to make it nicer. And because it is the complementary color, it makes it look much more aesthetically pleasing. So if you're going for the aesthetic vibe, you should definitely do this because it gives that aesthetic bonus. See? It gives off that very nice aesthetic. Very nice indeed. Okay. Now polishing the shading a bit just to look nicer and adding a bit of that skin tone over here. Okay. Now that we're done with that, I'm gonna be forgot to shade the cat ears, so I'm just gonna add a bit of shading on the cat ears a bit. Okay. Now the next thing that I'm gonna do are the other details that I forgot about, and that's about it. But we're gonna do some effects later after I finished. Oh no, I blobbed up. Okay, now I'm still gonna be doing the shadows. Gonna be adding the shadows. As you can see, it literally helps, and I mean it helps a lot that they're complementary colors. Now I'm gonna be adding a bit of bounce color, like a bit of pink here, just to make it look nicer. That's starting to look very, very nice. Also, I'm probably gonna add some blue highlights. Finishing off. I forgot to color the rest of the tail, so let's do that real quick. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're gonna add duplicate that layer, color the bottom layer a neon pink, then adding color that in. As you can see, it adds a really good effect. Now we're gonna be filtering that and adding a Gaussian blur. A Gaussian blur. Now 5, and put that on multiply, just for the nice color aesthetic. Like, what colors works with darker skin tones? Yellow, pink, blue, green, baby green, or like this color of a green. Also, this green. That should be the perfect color for darker skin tones. These greens, this fun dandelion color, this nice golden yellow. Like, basically, any color goes well with darker skin tones, basically. Depending on how you use the colors, though. I forgot to color in the gloves, so let's just color them gloves in. I'm sorry I'm late. You don't have to be sorry. I don't even use color theory. Oh wait, I do. But I break color theory. I can break color theory if I wanted to, but I'm not going to, because I'm too lazy to mix and match random rainbow colors just to make this aesthetically pleasing. Is the app Ibis Paint? Yes, it is. I'm gonna add a bit of pink on the side edges and use my fluffy watercolor brush. And back to a normal. You should be able to see the brushes I'm using on my community tab. Okay. Now that's there and looking very, very nice. I'm gonna be putting this on a folder. And once that is done, I'm gonna be adding, add a layer from folder, and here we can play around with it more. So, final details, you can do anything, like minor changes, like basically anything your little heart desires. So I'm just gonna be doing the hair a bit better, because it's basic. Giving the eyebrows more depth. The eyes need more lashes. Now also, I'm gonna put another layer on and use emotional issues or pandesal and make that a double layered brush just for the aesthetics, and use a nice color pink for the background color. A nice pink that doesn't match. Okay, that's better. Okay. Now, we're gonna be doing a nice little effect. Which is like this. You probably have seen it on my art a lot. Me doing these random squigglies. Just for like the aesthetics. Because it's so adorable. Have fun, like literally have fun. Go crazy, go wild, go bonanza. Anything you imagine, just do it. Just like add random sparkles, random glitters, random everything. Just do it, baby. Have fun. This is the last part, and my favorite part is just adding random sparkles, random stuff. It just random stuff just to make it look more pretty. But make sure that the colors match, because if not, then oh boy, it's gonna be a very... It's gonna be very, very, very messy. I think I added a little bit too much sparkles on the butt, but who cares? My life, my world. Now we're gonna be going back to the water brush, picking this in and doing this. Adding highlights to the eyes just to make it more popping out like he's alive. And yeah. I'm gonna be adding a nice little, screen tone, dots, and airbrush that in. Make it a bit darker every time so it accumulated and became darker. Now I'm gonna be turning this white because yummy, to fit the aesthetics. And boom. Also, duplicate the layer. For the final part, I'm just gonna add my signature to make sure that my art doesn't get stolen. Right in the butt, because I know people are gonna steal it, so I'm just gonna put him in his ass. Put that shit up his ass. Put it on his ass so people don't steal it. And yeah, fixing the colors a bit just to make it nice and poppy. Also, add layer from canvas. We're gonna do some final effects. We're gonna do some unsharp mask for that aesthetic. You can see that pops out a lot, giving your art more effect. And for the final part, we're gonna be adding a chromatic aberration. Either one, I like to use chromatic zooming on 1%, 1 pixel. Color order is GRB, or green, red, blue. And yeah, that's it. That is my full-on coloring, shading tutorial. The entirety of hair, face, eyes, and clothes. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye, everyone.